Your prospecting is already retargeting. Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm here to help you begin to win at Facebook. So, your prospecting is already doing retargeting for you. People think that when you have a retargeting campaign, that's how you're making the second touch on somebody. They may have already clicked, they may have already shown a level of intent, whatever the case may be. That's actually not true. Facebook is already retargeting inside of the prospecting campaign. Yes, your retargeting campaign is making that touch based on somebody's level of intent, but that's more likely much closer to the 10th or 20th time that somebody has seen your messaging, far more than the second. There's this metric going around called first impression rate. If somebody talks to you about that, you can laugh at them and walk in the other direction. That's a garbage metric for garbage thinking. That's a talking point for people that want to sound smart that are not interested in success. Let me break down why prospecting is already doing your retargeting and why effectively retargeting is something you don't need to worry about. It's a luxury problem that is unnecessary if you're only spending $1 million a year on Facebook or less. That's probably you. Let's get to it. So, 3 points. Number 1, prospecting is doing your retargeting because it's seeing people on multiple platforms. When you're doing retargeting, a lot of times, most retargeting is built off of engagement or built off of a click, something along those lines. It's not based off of impression. So somebody might have seen your ad on Instagram. Somebody might have seen your ad in the audience network. They might have seen your ad in Facebook. They probably have also seen your ad in a bunch of other places, but we'll get to that in point number 2. My point is, by the time somebody actually clicks on your ad, they may have already seen several other ads from you. So when you're talking about, well, somebody clicked on this thing and they didn't buy, so now I have to come up with, have to figure out a way to overcome that objection. That might have been the third thing, the fifth thing that they saw that actually made them want to click, but they just weren't ready to buy yet, which is the other point that we're going to get to later. So prospecting is already reaching people who are interested, especially if you don't have retargeting audiences set up, if you don't have your exclusions in place, if you're not wasting your time trying to chase down a bunch of vanity metrics by overcomplicating your system, trying to be smarter than Facebook and keep it as dumb as possible while complaining that it's not working for you. You can let prospecting see the entire funnel because it's already doing retargeting for you. Now what happens if you let it see people that have been to your site, if you let it see people that have engaged with you, if you let it see people that have added to cart? And the other facet of this is it's not just what's happening to you. Facebook, your prospecting ads are retargeting people that have shown interest on other sites. And if you've included advanced matching inside, because you've gone through Power 5 inside of Facebook and you're interested in actually succeeding, then you have already taken that data in. Like when I was running New Balance, we would see people that were coming in. They may or may not have been interested, but if that person went to Nike or to Reebok or whatever, and then looked at it, say a red trainer, but they didn't buy. Well, now they're in our feed because we're showing them our ads because they've shown a level of intent. Facebook is trying to show people content based on the data it has to show people stuff that they're interested in. Right? It's trying to keep people on the platform. I'll say this stat again. The average person swipes the height of the Eiffel Tower on a daily basis. Now, whether or not it's a big phone or a small phone, you might have 1 inch to 2 inches of content. Facebook is trying to use that in a way to keep somebody on the platform. That is their absolute number 1 objective. Eyeballs and attention. They're not just going to look at your data to determine what's successful and what people want to see, but also their traffic and behavior around the whole internet. So by the time Facebook sends an ad out in prospecting and somebody clicks on your ad, remember, that person has probably already seen at least 1, maybe 10 or 20 of your ads across Instagram and Facebook and Audience Network, and they more than likely have shown an interest in your product or service from your competitors. So prospecting is already doing retargeting for you. Now, next point that we're going to get to on prospecting is retargeting. Is built around somebody's interest in what it is that you're doing and built around their awareness of you. Now, we think of every one of these places as a silo, right? Well, there's Google ads, and then there's Facebook, and then there's YouTube, and then there's Pinterest, or they'll think about maybe they're running Instagram and then Facebook is something different, or whatever that looks like. The point to this is, by the time somebody sees ads from you inside of their prospecting campaign that they actually click on, odds are they've already seen you on other platforms as well. So they might have already seen your Google search ad. They might have already seen something that you've done on YouTube. They might have already seen something in Pinterest. So by the time that they've been exposed to that information, when Facebook is showing them a prospecting ad because their algorithm has determined that that is a good impression because that person is likely to take a high estimated action rate because your webpage, remember every ad is a webpage, has a predicted estimated action rate that is high based on the click-through rate and the bounce rate of your content and their level of interest and their internet journey up to that point. It's more than likely not nearly the first time that somebody's been exposed to you, which goes to this whole idea of like first impression data and all of this other nonsense. By the time you get a first impression from a Facebook campaign, it's far more likely that that's the 5th, the 10th, the 100th time that somebody has seen something from you. So don't go down the fallacy of, well, somebody clicked on this ad. Well, they're obviously not interested, so I have to come up with something else to overcome them. That person clicked on your ad because of an entire journey that occurred before they made that click. And that is occurring not just on their experience inside of Facebook, but their experience on many other platforms and in the real world. Your prospecting ad is reaching somebody that is a high quality impression because Facebook's prospecting is already doing retargeting for you. I hope that that clicks and that that makes sense. Remember, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, you're more than welcome to ping me, DM me, write a comment below, whatever it is that you want to do. And if you find this information to be helpful, please invite your friends. Now, I did get to a third point and I can't seem to find it here, so let's get down to the last piece about retargeting. It's still actually just part of your prospecting, and your prospecting is doing it. Now, the last point on this was somebody not buying from you, somebody not taking the action after that click. So you treat them differently inside of your ecosystem. Now, that's predicated on the theory, which is a patently false one, that when somebody goes to your landing page and doesn't buy, it's because there's something wrong with you. That is not anything that you would hold true in any other facet of life, right? Like say you were to go out on a date. Right now, if you don't get married after the first hello, that doesn't mean that the date is going to go wrong or you shouldn't have a second one, right? It doesn't mean that that person has fundamentally devalued you so that you have to change what you're doing, right? And I'm using nice verbiage, and we could absolutely get more grotesque if we wanted to, but I hope this is trying to drive the point. Why do people click on an ad? Because they've shown an interest. Why do people not buy? Because they're busy. They're in meetings. They're on the toilet. They're in traffic. They don't have the credit card next to them. It's a Wednesday and they get paid on Friday. It's the middle of the month and they don't get paid for the next week. They're distracted with something. They're looking at 3 other things. They're interested in this thing and they're just doing education. There's a million reasons where somebody could click on your ad and not make a purchase decision at that exact moment. That does not in any way signal to you that there's something fundamentally wrong. You are doing something fundamentally right and that you got that click. And that version, that impression, that effort that Facebook has already done retargeting to deliver to you based around their estimated action rate of that user by serving them your webpage, your ad inside of their newsfeed or whatever it is that they're being exposed is something of value to both you and to Facebook. Now, what this means is you don't need to focus on the retargeting journey and all this other stuff. And yes, an add to cart audience is probably going to have a higher ROAS than your prospecting audience. And it especially will if you exclude the retargeting audience from your prospecting audience because you're trying to say, I'm willing to make my bet that I can make all my money here and then I'm going to make prospecting as dumb as possible and then try to balance my investment because you're willing to day trade Facebook like an investment banker because that's your core competency, not running a business, which is why you're running Facebook ads in the first place. So unless that sounds like you and you have the time of day, 24 hours a day to predict where Facebook's going to go in the future and then manage that investment, that's probably not going to be ideal for you. And honestly, if you're spending more than $2,379 a day, which means you have an over $1 million a year budget, odds are it's a complete waste of your time because Facebook's already doing that retargeting. By the time somebody clicks on what it is that you're doing, if they don't say yes, it just means that it's not the right time for them. And your number one objective should be trying to find creatives that get that click, which might be the second, might be the third, might be the 5th click that somebody gives you, but it's probably the 10th, the 20th, the 50th impression that they're seeing just on Facebook, and in addition to everything else in the world, plus their buying behavior that they've shown on every other website with every other bit of effort that they've done on every device that they've
navigated on for their entire internet journey. Now, Facebook traffic is basically looking back over the last 6 months. So every action that person has taken on a connected device for the last 6 months predetermines why that person should see your ad right now. And if you think that's the absolute first time they've seen you, and if on the absolute first time they see you, they click and they don't buy, and that means there's something wrong with you, then that says a lot about you more than it does about the customer. And what I hope that you're seeing out of this is something of hope, of something that you can build on for confidence, because the problem that you're facing isn't that they're not ready to buy, it's that you are trying to segment things too much, and you're trying to keep Facebook dumb by feeling smart, and you wouldn't be watching this video if that was working for you, because now you're either not winning and you're seeing an issue, or you are now realizing that the reason that you are hitting a diminishing returns is because your success is directly related on your ability to do hard work, and you need something to do other in your day than just manage Facebook, like sleep, eat, enjoy life, or whatever else that needs to be done in a 24-hour period. Or maybe you're just not good at running a business with luck as your business model, and you would like to leverage the greatest invention in the history of mankind to deliver consistent results and generate intent at scale across billions of users in real time. If that sounds like something that you'd like to do, where you're scaling your success based off the decisions that you're making, not the work you put in, then this is your path. If that sounds like something that does not work for you, and you would rather leverage your business on luck and sweat equity, then please make the most complex ad account you need to. And in a year when you're facing the exact same problems, but you're just doing far worse than you are now, I'll still be here and we'll still have the same message, because this has been the best practice for years now. This is like, it's still, it upsets me when I see people trying to teach the next hack, or complain about their performance dropping, or chasing the next interest group or creative type or anything else, because those are fundamentally built around the idea that you can hack your way out of the problem, that you can effectively put hard work and luck as a business model over the machine learning of the greatest platform invented to create intent at scale. You're going to try to keep Facebook dumb so that you can feel smart and then complain when the results aren't going well for you. That is setting yourself up for failure. I hope you understand that. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. Once again, hi, I'm Charlie. Let me know anything else I can do to help you begin to win at Facebook.